This time I'll call to order the August 18, 2025 meeting of the City of Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency. This time we'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda.
Approve the minutes of the June 2, 2025 CRA meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. This time we'll move to item 3 on the agenda. Are there any citizens today requesting to be heard on items that are not on today's agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, Kathy, you can.
Hi, I'm Kathy Flaherty. I'm a resident in the Eastgate Gateway. For years, I've been trying to get this Mercado going for my neighborhood up there, and I was happy to see this post on Facebook about at least the Parks and Recs was actually recognizing it, and it's supposed to be a street market area, and that's supposed to bring things together, and it says markets and things to be held. But then when I looked at the budget that you guys had on Facebook for venues that you guys can rent out, the Mercado's not on it, and I don't understand why. And so this, for some reason, this venue is not promoted by the city at all, and I don't understand. It's like almost, you guys probably spent over $25 million, and it was one of the key things, just so everyone knows where it is. So this is the map of downtown Clearwater. The Downtown Development Board area, DDB, is this area. The Eastgate CRA is mainly in this green area. And then right where the yellow is the Mercado area. And so there's a picture of basically the outline of that. This whole thing started back in 2012 with the Eastgate Vision Plan by Gesner. And then in 2017, it was approved by the board. And then this was what the plan was, to have a street market and then the Mercado space in the middle. So that's what was approved in 2017. The Tampa Bay Times announced it, moving forward with the Gateway. In it, the article, it talks about street markets on the weekends and all this kind of stuff. So this is what was supposed to revitalize that neighborhood, all right? And then we hit COVID. And then 2020, we had a new CRA director, Amanda Thomas, and she said she couldn't find the plans that were approved in 2017. So they approved a new Mercado space, but then that turned into the Festival Core. They tried to change the name, the CRA, people did, but I got that back. All right, so here's all, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that went on between 2019 and 20, and we finally got it built. And so this is what is built, and if you can see this outline, that's the street market area. That's why you have light pavement up there. That's why you have the bullards. That was designed and built by engineering. That was separate from Parks and Department and everything like. So they didn't know what was being built because engineering gave it to one engineer because to redo the whole street, they didn't have the right sewage and stuff like that. So it took 2 years, 3 years before this thing could get built. So then I thought it was built, we'd have like some parties, we'd have some festival market, like a market down there. I mean, this was the 2045 plan. And if you look, we had an economic zone right on top of it. And that means like you guys would promote it. But then all of a sudden that was, and the CRA director started promoting. And then I lost the dot. Please, please promote that Mercado.
Thank you for sharing with us today. Anyone else here desire to speak to an item that's not on today's CRA agenda?
Good morning, good afternoon, members of the council. I'm Bill Johnson. I wanted to share a couple pictures. I was down in St. Petersburg over the weekend for a board meeting and took the opportunity to walk through the St. Peter Park. And I was really impressed with the lush landscaping in the area. And I couldn't help but compare it with our Coachman Park, where our plan was to have a similar waterfront park that would attract residents to downtown as well as to entice those that are coming to the Sound to come back. At the last Parks and Recs Committee meeting, I showed some photos of recent landscape deficiencies here in Coachman Park, and it really is a big difference between our Coachman Park and the pier. And I know you're about ready to finalize the CRA budget for next year and I would suggest you make sure you provide adequate funding for a enhanced landscaping. And just as an example, this is St. Petersburg. This is another shot of St. Petersburg. This is part of our Coachman Park. This is another part of our Coachman Park. And another shot of our Coachman Park. And finally, of the Coachman Park right up next to the library. I don't think it complies with the intent that you folks had when you were part of promoting Coachman. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Is anyone else here from the public desire to speak today to an item that's not on today's agenda for the CRA? Hearing seeing none, we'll move to item 4.1 on the agenda. This time we would like to call forward the CRA staff to talk about the presentation of the August Business Spotlight Award.
All right. Good afternoon. My name is Tasha Hatley, CRA Specialist. I am pleased to present and introduce Consumer Energy Solutions as our August Business Spotlight winner and our final recipient of the program. Founded by Patrick Clouden in 1999, this Clearwater-based energy company serves over 1.3 million customers nationwide, right in their headquarters in downtown Clearwater. Their core service is helping customers find fixed-rate electricity and natural gas plants, bringing transparency and cost savings to an industry that can often feel overwhelmed. What sets them apart is how they balance business growth with a deep sense of purpose. They invest in their employees with robust training strategies, which has earned them top workplace year after year. They've also built a legacy of giving, supporting education and launching long-term community partnerships. To bring the story to life, the CRA and Public Communications produced a video that captures the impact behind their work. You can watch the video on the Clearwater CRA social media channels and read an article about them on myclearwatercra.com. At this time, we invite you to watch the video that highlights Consumer Energy Solutions. Thank you.
My name is Pat Clouden, and I'm the owner of Consumer Energy Solutions, and I also have the role of Chief Executive Officer. So I started Consumer Energy Solutions with the purpose of helping the employees win and putting together programs that actually help customers win, in that we help them save money on their energy. They know exactly what they're going to pay. We offer a fixed rate on energy for an extended period of time. The way we've supported the local community revolves around really two key areas. One is drug education to children. The other thing is a tutoring group called the Community Learning Center. That tutoring center grew into a private school. Now that private school has 70-some children, and we've been involved in it from the beginning. I've been involved in that for probably 20 years, actually. The moment that I'd be especially proud of was when we won the Tampa Bay Business Journal's Philanthropic Award for our work in drug education for children and with the Community Learning Center. To me, that's what it's really all about, is how can you help people find and fulfill their purpose and become more productive. You know, it's one of those things, you start doing it and it's like, yeah, this makes sense, and this is why we were in business, and this is what we should be doing.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I understand he's not able to be here today, but we will certainly make sure he gets this. So thank you. Congratulations to them as well. That will move to item 4.2 on the agenda. Approve the Community Redevelopment Agency Business Spotlight Program for 2025 that will provide exposure to businesses within the downtown Clearwater and North Greenwood community redevelopment areas, and authorize the appropriate officials to execute the same.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Tasha Hatley, CRA Specialist. The item I have before you is the CRA Business Spotlight Program 2025. CRA staff recommends the continued expansion of the Business Spotlight Program to support its goals of attracting residents, visitors, and businesses to our redevelopment areas. This enhanced initiative builds on the success of our recent campaign, which highlighted 7 businesses in the downtown Clearwater core. Through a collaboration effort between the CRA and Public Communications, we developed a custom marketing material to help businesses share their stories and expand their reach. With that momentum, we're now extending the program to include both downtown Clearwater and North Greenwood community redevelopment areas. This round introduces the Legacy Spotlight. This is a special category that honors businesses serving the community for 10 years or more. The Business Spotlight program supports the goals of downtown Clearwater and North Greenwood redevelopment plans by promoting local businesses, strengthening community, and encouraging economic growth. It also reinforces the CRA's and the city's goals for economic development. If this item is approved, businesses that want to apply can visit myclearwatercra.com/spotlight. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is there anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.2? Hearing, seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If there's none, is there a motion?
I move to approve agenda item 4.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Move to agenda item 4.3. Approve a 3-year interlocal agreement between the Clearwater Community Redevelopment Agency and the Clearwater Downtown Development Board for the refund of CRA tax increment fees and the provision of personnel, administration, and management services, and authorize appropriate officials to execute the same.
Good afternoon, Jesus Nino for the record, Executive Director for the CRA. I'm here to request approval for a 3-year interlocal agreement between the Community Redevelopment Agency of the City of Clearwater and the Downtown Development Board. This agreement will be effective from October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2028. Just like when it went to the DDB, there's 2 primary components of the agreement. 1, to return the CRA increment funds back to the DDB, and 2, the continued CRA support through staffing, administrative, and management services. The DDB of the Downtown Development Board approved this agreement on August the 4th, 2025. For context, the partnership has been in place since fiscal year 1999-2000. Each year, the DDB contributes its tax increment revenue back to the CRA in accordance to state laws, and the CRA kind of gives it right back, except we keep a portion for administrative fees and management fees. This updated agreement maintains the structure and includes a 5% annual increase to the CRA's management fee as follows. On year 1, $90,365. On year 2, $94,883. Then on year 3, $99,627. This agreement reinforces our ongoing partnership with the DDB and our commitment to advance the downtown redevelopment plan. In addition, this is also in alignment with the city's strategic plan. With that, staff is recommending approval.
Is there anyone here from the public who desires to speak to agenda item 4.3? Yep, come on forward.
All right. My name is Kathy Flaherty, and I come up here. I don't oppose this thing with the DDB, I understand, but I don't understand why. One thing, why are you doing 3 years all of a sudden? Do you not want the scrutiny of it? I mean, why can't it changes every year, property taxes go up and down. Why do 3 years? That's just weird. Also, I just want to point out that the DDB, the board members are you guys. All right, so Bruce, you're on it. Lena, you're on it. David, you're on it. Ryan, Michael, I'm not sure. And I mean, so basically, the city took over the DDB. So you're approving. I don't see how you guys can vote to approve This is a contract. This is a contract for services. We went through this with Pam Atkin. I went through it with, I can send you all the things, all the recommendations. Basically, it's a contract for services. The services that you guys, you pay them, the DDB collects, the members pay property taxes and they pay city taxes, they're developmental increment taxing authorities. They get that, and then that's the money that gets paid to the CRA. Well, the Downtown Development Board people, the members, they pay their property taxes. So basically, you're refunding their property taxes by doing this. It's not the Downtown Development Board paying the CRA like the city or the county. It's their members that pay into it. And so basically, what you guys are doing and how it started back in 1999 was that you guys would give it back to the Downtown Development Board because the property owners knew how to promote their area better. So they were doing the Friday things and the little this and this and that, and all of a sudden it's expanded, it's morphed into this giant crazy thing, and my CRA just gets blown aside. Like my Mercado got swept under the rug. I mean, it's not even a paid venue. But now the Downtown Development Board gets all this stuff. These are the services. Propagate, maintain all the CRA, who I have to pay for staffing for my funds, is now going to prepare all their funds, is going to assist me with their annual budget, financial reports, monthly meetings, coordinate, handle all phone calls, handle all special meetings. Basically, the CRA staff just staffs the Downtown Development Board. I don't see any activity in my area. All of my funds, I figured it out, all the Eastgate CRA funds, that goes to staffing of the downtown, of the CRA, who gets staffed to the Downtown Development Board. And now, you guys took it over for some reason last year. I don't know, you led that charge, Lena. Maybe you can explain that to everybody. The state didn't want to take it because you would have had to amend your documents. And now it's morphed into this thing where the city now is part of the Downtown Development Board, and you guys are fiduciary trustees for the CRA. That's totally different from the DDB, totally different from the council.
Thank
Do
you,
your
Kathy.
jobs.
Thank you, Kathy. A lot to unpack there, of course, but we'll be glad to do that with you separately. Is there anyone else here from the public who desires to speak to agenda item 4.3? Hearing none, is there any trustees' discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Move to agenda item 5.1.
Again, Jesus Nito for the record. This is the director's report. There it is. And just also to apologize that on the agenda, usually we have an item that you approve to have on there, which is basically downtown updates. For some reason, it wasn't on the agenda this time, but it will be there in the future, and that's your item to discuss whatever you want to or not. This is the director's report, and just to discuss a few items, we want to discuss the downtown construction updates, Cleveland Street activation, CRA Clearwater Police engagement, North Greenwood CAC, property disposition updates, and then the North Ward Elementary School updates. First, I do want to thank the Public Communications Department. We've been working hand in hand with them and other departments to put together materials and information so that we can share with the community. This is going to be an ongoing effort. So just a reminder for the public that we do have a myclearwater.com/downtown construction website so they can get information on the downtown. This is the Fire Station 45 demolition. We're in the process of removing asbestos from the property. And once we do that, we're going to go ahead and demolish the property. Hopefully we get that done by December the 1st. This is being funded by the CRA as far as the demolition. Then hopefully the Public Works Department, they'll try to go after voluntary tax cleanup credits to see if we can recover anything from contamination. If not, at least we'll try. Then once the property is vacant, we're going to use that property, the city is going to use it for staging and parking. Then once that phase is over, then we'll put it out there for disposal as well to the private sector. And this one is just an update that on August 26th, we do have a community meeting here at the library from 3 to 4 p.m. So the public, whoever's watching, they're invited to attend so they can get updates on downtown construction, on any grants CRA has, and any other information and feedback they want to provide us. Then as far as Cleveland Street activation, there's just so many different moving pieces there that we're working very closely with departments. One small one is bike racks and kiosks. We've been working with some of the merchants in downtown, and they're requesting more bicycle racks for their businesses, so we're working with various departments to get that done, in addition to updating some of the kiosks that are along Cleveland Street. And if you have any questions throughout, just feel free to stop me anytime. Then this one is exciting. So Lou Electric, they're in the process of installing lighting along the 400 and 500 block. It's not the quickest process since all the trees are different sizes, different diameters, so they have to kind of adjust their lightings or go back to the shop and do whatever they have to do, but hopefully that gets done fairly quick. Then the Reimagine Clearwater is the main library. Here in the main library, that evaluation committee finalized their evaluation this Friday, and they do have their top 3. And we'll see if we can bring that to the city council, not the CRA trustees, at the next available council meeting. I do have information just in case you do have questions, but it is going to be scheduled to city council. And then we'll also get directions from city management on any other processes or actions we need to take before we bring it to city council. And these police statistics are just here for your records, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask, but otherwise they're just here for your records. And here's more of them. And I do want to thank the police departments. They've been valuable partners for community policing innovations in the downtown. They're very proactive as far as meeting with any business owners, residents, wherever it may be, or just speaking at neighborhood associations and just doing their thing, and they're just being very good police officers. Pictures up there, Nicole.
It's famous.
She does a great job. All the police officers in downtown do is they sit down with any business owner that needs them. As far as North Greenwood, I'll keep this one short. We do have an open seat for the North Greenwood Citizens Advisory Committee that closes on August the 20th. So if you know of anyone that's interested, please remind them that that window is about to close. As far as the property disposition strategy, that's an ongoing effort, and I do want to thank Mr. Philip Kirkpatrick. He's back here in the audience, I think. If not, then, yep, he is there. He's been doing a very aggressive job on trying to dispose of the properties. The non-economic remainders, that's an ongoing effort. We do have a few individuals that are interested in some of those little slivers. In the North Greenwood area, there isn't any interest just yet, but Phil's out there doing his best to just try to dispose of those little sliver properties. And as far as some of the single-family lots we have on tranche number 2, we did go to disposition and advertise those properties, and it did go to an evaluation committee. We have 2 offerings, one for 1164 LaSalle Street. So staff is working with legal to put together any kind of agreements that we need there so we can bring it back to the city council for surplus. In addition, there's 4 other parcels that are contiguous to each other by Curtis Elementary. We also have a proposal that submitted a proposal to us, and we're also working with legal on that matter so we can bring it back to the city council or trustees. Then we do have a big site that's located on MLK. That's the 306 Washington Avenue. It's 7 properties, 1 big one and 6 little ones. So Philip is working with developers out there in the communities trying to ramp up interest in the properties. Then we hope to go ahead and dispose of those properties pretty soon by first advertising it. Then there's 4 properties on tranche number 4. They're located on Cleveland Street between the car wash and the Lucas Restaurant. We're hoping to dispose of those, or at least advertise for the disposition of those properties in mid-September. Then Ward Elementary, we do have a city council work session presentation by Rowe Architects and the city's Planning and Development Services Department, so they can go over the details of Ward Elementary. That concludes the formal presentation, but I do also want to give you an update on Clearwater Gardens. I know Mr. Councilman Menino, or Trustees Menino, asked me as far as Clearwater Gardens. They do expect to receive their CO by the end of September and start to move in tenants in October, and we're also working with them as far as a ribbon cutting, so we can invite all of you in city management there so you can celebrate their opening. Then all of you are aware of the PSTA groundbreaking that's taking place on Friday, August 22nd. I don't have the exact time, but Ms. Joelle with Public Communications, she has that. Other than that, this is just a reminder to the community. And to make it clear, this is not funded by the CRA, but it is activation of the downtown. This is, hopefully I pronounce this correctly, it's an event. Viva la Getza. It's an event. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but it's August the 19th, 2025, at 612 Cleveland Street. So this is an activation of the downtown. In addition, Vicky Shire, CRA manager, has been working very hard to get this Cornhole League event started in the downtown. So September the 2nd through November the 9th, the community is invited to attend. With that, I'm open for questions.
Vice Mayor?
Just a quick question. In the slide with the bike racks, you also added or said kiosks. Are you using it interchangeably? Are the bike racks incorporated into the kiosks?
No,
Can you elaborate on that?
I apologize. The bike racks are bike racks.
Okay, and the kiosks are?
Separate.
And what are they going to describe
Basically
those
just
kiosks for me?
information for the downtown, and we're hopefully soon, we're working with the Planning and Development Services Department to see if we can get electronic kiosks, but right now I think they're just updating the ones that are existing, the ones you open up and just kind of put flyers or a map in there.
Okay, so like promotional things?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Menino.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the update and the update on Clearwater Gardens. I just wanted to comment on the interactive construction map. It's a great tool. I hope we keep spreading that word. I jumped on it and started poking around and double-clicking on different things, and it was amazing. Click on a tractor, and it gives you the dates to start and end and pictures and what the plans are. So congratulations to staff and public communications for putting that out. Hope our residents use it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have one question. You mentioned lighting on Cleveland Street, but you also mentioned you were working on Coachman Park too. So a little bit on what Mr. Johnson said. What's the lighting part that you're doing in Coachman Park? Because I know we've had a number of the light fixtures broken for some time down there. Is that part of that, or is this some other lighting?
We're
work you're doing?
piggybacking off that particular contractor, but as far as Coachman Park, the city's Parks and Recreation Department is taking care of that. And I know they're out there doing their best as far as to get that lighting situation under control. But we're just kind of using their contractor to kind of spread it down, the lighting, the programmable lighting to the 400, 500 block.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If there's nothing else to come before the Community Redevelopment Agency, we will adjourn the August 18th meeting. You need just a minute or so to
No,
switch.
you can go.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. This time we'll call to order the August 18, 2025 meeting of the City of Clearwater Pension Trustees. This time we'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda, approval of the minutes.
Move to approve the minutes?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. This time we'll move to item 3 on the agenda. Today, are there any citizens to be heard regarding items not on today's Pension Trustees agenda? Hearing seeing none, we'll move to item 4.1.
Mayor, I guess I'll take this item. This is for legal services relating to pension disability claims. As the trustees are aware, we have recently revitalized and upgraded our review process for disability pensions. Part of that process involves, among other things, outside counsel review. We have chosen our longtime workers' comp counsel, Mark Hungate, to handle those. It makes sense from an efficiency standpoint because the issues involving pension disabilities very closely overlap with the issues of workers' compensation. If we were to use somebody else for this service, which we could, it would be pretty inefficient because we'd have to pay a lawyer separately to get up to speed on things that Mr. Hungate already knows. So we would actually double our costs. So I do think this is the most efficient way, and I am supportive of this item.
Is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.1? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.2.
Approve pension plan administrative expenditures for fiscal year 2026.
Good afternoon, trustees. Jay Ravens, Finance Director. This request is for approval of various administrative expenditures for the pension plan for fiscal year 2026 in the total not to exceed amount of $443,800, which is a $73,900 or 20% increase from the fiscal year 2025 total of $369,900. This includes all administrative expenditures in support of the pension plan other than certain professional services contracts that have been brought to the trustees separately, such as the actuary contract and money manager agreements. The increase this year is primarily due to a $60,000 increase in the budget for legal professional fees from $90,000 in 2025 to $150,000 for fiscal 2026. This is due to the new practice just discussed by the city attorney of using a special hearing officer for the review of disability claims. Be happy to answer any questions.
Is anyone here from the public that desires to speak to agenda item 4.2? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.2.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.3.
Approve Alan Ryan's request for job-connected disability pension.
Good afternoon, Tiffany Macros, Human Resources Director. This agenda item before you seeks approval from the pension trustees for Mr. Ryan's disability retirement benefit.
Is anyone here from the public that desires to speak to agenda item 4.3? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.4.
Approve Martin Villamek's request for job-connected disability pension.
Very similar to the last item, this is also seeking the trustees' approval for Mr. Villamek's disability retirement benefit.
Is anyone here from the public that desires to speak to agenda item 4.3? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? No discussion, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.4.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.5.
Approve the new hires for acceptance into the pension plan as listed.
Same? Yeah.
Yes, here for any questions.
Yeah,
you
the
may
list
have.
is attached, the list is attached to the agenda. So is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.5? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.5.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.6.
Approve the listed employees to vest their pensions as provided in section 2.419 of the employee's pension plan.
Available for questions.
Anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.6? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If not, is there a motion?
Move to approve agenda item 4.6.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Agenda item 4.7.
approve the listed employees for a regular pension as provided by sections 2.416 and 2.424 of the Employees Pension Plan.
Okay. Is anyone here from the public desire to speak to agenda item 4.7? Hearing seeing none, is there any trustees discussion? If there's no discussion, is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda item 4.7.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Move to agenda item 5, Director's Report. There's no report today, then we will adjourn the August 18, 2025 meeting of the City of Clearwater Pension Trustees. Need a minute? We'll recess for just about a minute or two.
Thank you.
This time we'll call to order the August 18, 2025 work session of the Clearwater City Council. This time we'll move to item 2.1 on the agenda, and we have service awards to present. So first, I'd like to call forward Corey Martins from Public Works and ask our city manager to read the letter of appreciation for Corey.
On behalf of the City of Clearwater, it is a great honor to recognize Corey for 35 years of dedicated service and unwavering commitment to the city and its residents. Corey's journey began in 1990 as a traffic engineering assistant, and over the years, his career has stood as a testament to his professionalism, technical skill, and steadfast presence. Throughout his promotion to traffic operations assistant and later to the pivotal role of traffic control center supervisor, Corey has consistently demonstrated sound judgment and deep expertise in the complex world of traffic signal operations. Corey's calm, methodical approach and technical insight were essential in maintaining accurate and timely updates to traffic infrastructure statuses. His leadership during those high-stress events helped safeguard public safety and streamline emergency response efforts across the region during Hurricanes Helene and Milton. And, excuse me. In his words of his current supervisor, Corey has been a vital leader and resource within the department, especially in mentoring and training newer staff. His extensive knowledge of signal systems, operational protocols, industry standards has made him the go-to expert for technical guidance. Whether troubleshooting complex issues or providing historical context on long-standing systems, Corey's experience has ensured continuity, consistency, and a high-level performance across the team. His contributions have helped shape a well-informed and capable staff, leaving a lasting mark on the department's operational excellence. Former Traffic Operations Division Manager Paul Bertels says, Corey performed his duties with integrity, dependability, and the highest regard for accuracy in all data-driven tasks. He is highly respected by his colleagues throughout the industry and recently oversaw the relocation of the control center from MSB to Traffic Operations Field in the Public Works Complex. Pinellas County Traffic Engineering Program Coordinator, Gina Harvey, says, Corey has been a valued partner to Pinellas County throughout his 35 years with the City of Clearwater. He is always willing to collaborate, and Corey has worked side by side with county staff on signal operations, trials, special events, and hurricane coordination. He has shared his experience through many years of service on the Technical Coordinating Committee. Corey is a trusted and respected member of the Regional Transportation Committee. Thank you, Corey, for your unwavering dedication, your professionalism, and your lasting impact you've made through your years of service. Corey, you continue to make Clearwater thrive with your superior public service and attention to high-performing government. It's been a privilege to work alongside you and witness the excellence you bring to everything that you do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's remarkable.
Watch your step. Congratulations.
Thank you for your service. Your friends out there young.
Thank you, Corey. 35 years. What a tribute to Corey's commitment, not just to his profession, but to our great city. And so thank you, Corey, for your years of service to Clearwater. At this time, we'll call forward Chris Malone from Public Works. He is the Employee of the Month for the month of June 2025. And I'll ask the city manager to read his letter of appreciation.
In the words of fellow coworkers, we would like to nominate Chris for Employee of the Month for his exceptional dedication and contributions, particularly during the recent municipal service building relocation and renovations. Chris has gone far above and beyond expectations of his role, demonstrating remarkable initiative and commitment. In addition to managing his regular duties, Chris played an instrumental part in the planning and execution of the move, ensuring that every detail was carefully handled. What truly set him apart was his willingness to utilize his own resources to help the city, showing an unmatched level of selflessness. Throughout the entire process, Chris maintained extremely mindful of city property, taking great care to ensure that all assets were properly dispersed and/or disposed of. His attention to detail and thoughtfulness was invaluable, and he played a key role in the smooth and successful relocations of all MSB departments. This was no easy task. Moving is challenging, and each department had its own unique needs and wants to be managed. Chris has consistently gone above and beyond to support his coworkers and the city, and we believe he truly deserves this recognition. His hard work, resourcefulness, and integrity make him an outstanding candidate for Employee of the Month. Thank you, Chris, for providing superior public service and your collaborative engagement throughout this process. You have shown what high-performing government looks like with your responsive levels of service for our public facilities and amenities, and how you identified resources required to sustain a quality level of service. Chris, you make Clearwater thrive. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you for all you do. This time we'll move to item 2.2 on the agenda. I'd like to call forward our new fire chief, Chad Pittman. Chief Pittman's taking the oath of office today. I just can't tell you how fortunate we are to have Chief Pittman here in Clearwater. He brings 35 years of experience in fire and rescue to Clearwater, through Largo and East Lake and Palm Harbor. All of that experience right here in Pinellas County, in the north part of Pinellas County. So many people throughout the county, throughout the state really, have said wonderful things about you, Chief. And we couldn't be more excited to have you here serving the city of Clearwater as our new fire chief. So with that, I'll ask Nicole to, our deputy clerk, to administer the oath of office.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend the Constitution of Government of the United States and the state of Florida and the charter and laws of the city of Clearwater, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the charter and laws of the city of Clearwater, and that I am well and faithfully able to perform the duties of fire chief on which I am now about to enter. Yes. Thank you.
Welcome aboard. Thank you, sir.
Chief, I know, I don't think we prepared you to give a long speech, so hopefully you don't have one prepared. But would you like to say a few words to the?
So am I good to just?
Come around.
Yeah, we need to get you on the microphone and on the camera, if you would, so they can see you on the screens from behind you.
Sure, makes sense. I've tried to express my gratitude for this opportunity. Working for this organization is a big deal to me, and I pledge that I will put all my effort possible into improving this organization. And as I told the city manager, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm thankful for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Glad to have you. Okay, with that, we'll move to item 3.1 on the agenda.
Mayor and council, Dylan's going to come up. This item is going to be pulled from today's agenda.
Good afternoon, Dylan May, I'm the acting housing manager. Yeah, we are requesting to pull this item from the agenda. We're still working out some specifics on the terms for this amendment. Once those have been solidified, we'll bring it back to you for your approval.
Move to item 3.2 on the agenda.
Appoint 10 members to the 2025 Affordable Housing Advisory Committee to include the appointment of a locally elected official and adopt Resolution 25-12.
Good afternoon, Dylan May. I'm the acting housing manager. This item is for the appointment of the city's Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, or AHAC, which is required by Florida State Statute 420.9076. A little bit of background: under state law, any county or city receiving State Housing Initiative Partnership funding, or SHIP funding, must annually establish an Affordable Housing Advisory Committee and prepare a Local Housing Incentive Strategy, or LHIS. The statute specifies that the committee must be composed of between 8 and 11 members approved by City Council. It must include one locally elected official and at least one representative from 6 designated categories related to housing development and community service. Please note, of the members being recommended, the member of the local planning agency, which is currently listed as Michael Bootskis on the resolution, will be discussed at the community development meeting tomorrow and confirmed. Should there be a change, we will address that prior to the agenda for Thursday being published and switch out the resolution. The AHAC will review city policies, regulation, and the comprehensive plan. We'll also recommend changes that promote affordable housing while supporting property value growth. Their work will culminate in the local housing incentive strategy, a plan outlining the city's vision, priorities, and recommended actions. This must be submitted to you for approval prior to December 31st, 2025. In summary, this appointment and the AHAC process ensures that the city remains in compliance with state requirements, maintains our eligibility for SHIP funding, and continues to advance affordable housing opportunities in Clearwater. With that, I'd be happy to address any questions.
Okay. Any questions? Not, thank you. Move to item 3.3.
Approve the State Housing Initiatives Partnership Program Annual Report and Local Housing Incentive Certification.
Again, Del Mayu, acting housing manager. With me today, I have Terry Malcolm-Smith. She is our home SHIP admin and in-house underwriter. Today, I'll be providing an overview of the State Housing Initiative Partnership, better known as the SHIP program, and the city's accomplishments for the 2022-2023 closeout year. The Florida legislature enacted the William E. Sadowski Affordable Housing Act in 1992. The act created a dedicated revenue source for state and local housing trust funds. This includes the SHIP program. Through SHIP, the City of Clearwater's Economic Development and Housing Department is able to fund a variety of activities. This includes down payment assistance, the construction of new homes, rehabilitation of owner-occupied properties, and rehabilitation of rental properties. Every local government that receives SHIP must submit an annual report to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation no later than September 15th. This report details how funds were spent and committed, the strategies funded, and households served. It also includes demographic data, such as income level, age, household size, race, as well as information on distressed communities and populations, special needs populations. SHIP is unique in that the qualifying local governments receive an annual formula-based allocation from dock stamp revenues collected on real estate transactions here in the state. The state does encourage these funds to be distributed as loans rather than grants. When this money comes back, it's called program income, and that can be reinvested locally alongside new annual allocations. Local governments have 3 years to fully expend each year's allocation and related program income. So I'll go over the 2022-2023 closeout results. The city did receive $1,127,930 from the state's annual distribution, $772,574 in program income and related interest, and we carried forward a small negative balance of $6,653 from the prior closeout year. This brought the total revenue to $1,855,891. We essentially fully expended those funds. We assisted 25 families through the following strategies: $579,525 for purchase assistance. This is our DPA and closing costs loans. $302,549 for owner-occupied rehabilitation, and $830,442 for 4 single-family homes. The SHIP program continues to have a significant economic impact. In 2022-2023, our $1.85 million in SHIP expenditures leveraged approximately $1.97 million in additional funds from other sources. We also invested $151,421 in program administration. This ensures compliance and efficient delivery of our services. We also allocated SHIP funds to our emergency relief program. We actually fully funded that program with SHIP after Hurricanes Helene and Milton. Though most of our applications will be funded in future program years, we did fund one emergency relief application through this program year. Looking ahead, as we close out this reporting period, the program will carry forward a positive balance of $7,959 into fiscal year 23-24, which will be reported this time next year. In summary, the SHIP program remains a vital tool in addressing affordable housing needs in Clearwater, helping families secure safe, quality homes while also boosting our local economy. With that, Terry and myself are happy to address any questions.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Council? No questions? Okay, thank you. Move to item 4.1 on the agenda.
Approve agreement for professional external audit services for 5 fiscal years ending September 30, 2025 through 2029 with the accounting auditing firm of Cherry Beckert LLP.
Good afternoon, Monica Mitchell, Assistant Finance Director. This agenda item is for the approval of a 5-year agreement with Cherry Beckert LLC to perform the city's annual audit for the fiscal years ending September 30th, 2025 through September 30th, 2029. The RFP process was conducted in accordance with the city's procurement code and the auditor selection procedures outlined in Section 218.391 Florida statutes. We would like to thank the Auditor Selection Committee, chaired by Councilmember Menino, and our citizen appointees, Maury Loescher and Alicia Collins-Andrews, for their hard work and participation on this committee. In addition to being a highly recommended and widely recognized practice, auditor rotation is mandatory for the City of Clearwater because our charter prohibits an auditor from serving more than 5 consecutive years. For this reason, Carr, Riggs & Ingram, the incumbent auditor, was not eligible to submit a proposal. The city received a total of 6 proposals, which were reviewed and ranked by the Auditor Selection Committee. Cherry Beckert emerged as the top candidate and is the Auditor Selection Committee's recommendation to you today. Any questions?
Okay. Do you have any questions on this agenda? Okay. If not, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 4.1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 5.1.
Approve a purchase order to Rep Services, Inc. for the purchase and installation of playground equipment at Marymount Park.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council. Matthew Anderson, Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation. The item before you is for a replacement playground for Marymount Park. We had neighborhood meetings with residents, took options for playground features. This item before you was selected by the residents. Part of this improvement is to change out the play surface from mulch, which is what's currently there, to pour in place rubber, which is safer and is a more sustainable option long-term for safety. Rep Services is a United States company, which also allows us to have quicker and better warranty service and also parts when we need to order them. And I'll be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Do you have any questions on this agenda item? If there are no questions, do we have consent?
Yes.
Yep.
We have consent on 5.1. Thank you for getting the neighborhood input on that too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do
thought
actually
that
have
was-
one quick question. I'm sorry,
Councilman.
I'm late to it. Awesome design, love it. Is there going to be any type of shade structure over it? Because I know that location is pretty open.
Well, the place where this is going is next to the restroom facility, and there's a large tree we're
trees,
preserving. So this design, we got 3 designs that would all allow us to preserve that tree. So there, as long as the tree stays up, we will not need
All right,
shade.
cool. Yeah, I see the 3 on the side and around it, but I want to make sure it's covering it. So
Absolutely,
awesome.
yes, sir.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. So why does it say impractical on there after the code?
So impractical is the shipping, which we have items that are impractical to bid. So if I buy something from you,
I understand,
I want to
okay.
ship it from you rather than have a third party.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. Move to item 5.2 on the agenda.
That item is going to be continued to the September 18th meeting.
Item 6.1 on the agenda.
Approve acceptance of University of North Florida Training and Services Institute, Inc., doing business as Institute of Police Technology and Management.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Deputy Chief Mike Walker, Police Department. This item is for approval for the acceptance of a high-visibility pedestrian and bicycle safety overtime grant. The grant has been officially awarded to the Police Department in the amount of $22,969.15 for police overtime, and the department now seeks approval for it. The Police Department has conducted grant-funded comprehensive enforcement and education projects since March 2014, aimed at changing the behaviors of all those who use Clearwater's roadways, pedestrians, bicyclists, and motorists. Due to the continued success of the program, IPTM, University of North Florida, would like to see us continue to build upon what we already accomplished to enforce this grant. The project period for Tier 1 areas, which are identified by FDOT as dangerous intersections or areas, will commence upon execution of the contract, and Tier 2 locations will commence on February 1st. Some of the Tier 1 areas include Gulf to Bay from South Mars to South Mercury, it's Gulf to Bay from US Highway 19 to Hampton Road, South Missouri Avenue from Bel Air to Court Street. Some of the Tier 2 areas include Drew Street from Belcher to Coachman, Gulf to Bay to Court Street, Gulf to Bay to Main, and Druid Road East from the railroad tracks to South Martin Luther King. Just a little bit of information: between October 1, 2024 and May 9, 2025, the previous grant, we utilized 93% of the awarded funds, which officers made contact with 862 people, 337 educational contacts, 183 warnings, and 342 citations. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions regarding agenda item 6.0? Vice Mayor?
Just curious, can you describe what elaborate pedestrian decoys looks like?
Like having an officer dress up as an undercover, like a plainclothes person, like walking across the intersection to see who's committing violations or stuff like that.
Oh, I see, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this agenda item? Do we have consent?
Yes.
Yep.
We have consent on 6.1. Thank you. 6.2.
Approve an agreement with Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for forensic crime scene processing, latent prints, property and evidence storage, and Pinellas Juvenile Assessment Center security services.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, again, Deputy Chief Mike Wallach. This item is for approval of a new agreement between the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office and the Clearwater Police Department. This annual agreement has been in place since 1994 and includes forensic crime scene processing, latent fingerprints examination, property and evidence storage, and shared security costs for the Pinellas County Juvenile Assessment Center. The total cost for the proposed agreement for fiscal year 26 is $520,996, which reflects a 1.4% decrease from last year. The agreement is based upon the following projections: forensic crime scene processing, 800 cases at $327.52 each; fingerprint services, 450 cases at $120.40 each; property and evidence storage, 11,000 items at $16.90 each; and juvenile assessment center, 225 juveniles booked at $84 each. Any funds remaining from the unused services will be refunded, and funding is included in the Police Department's fiscal 2026 operating budget request. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Any questions on agenda item 6.2? Okay. If not, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 6.2. Thank you. Agenda item 6.3.
Approve an event license agreement between Jones Lang LaSalle Americas, Inc., in its capacity as agent for the owner of the premises known as Countryside Mall.
Again, good afternoon, Mayor, Council, Deputy Chief Mike Wallach. This item is for approval of an event license agreement between the City of Clearwater and Jones Lang LaSalle Americas as the agent for Countryside Mall for the purpose of hosting a shred-a-thon and Operation Medicine Cabinet on Saturday, October 25th, 2025. It's required to come before you because of the identification clause, and there is no cost to the city. This is an excellent opportunity for Clearwater residents to dispose of any wanted or expired prescription medications properly, and to shred personal documents to avoid any potential exposure to fraud. Just FYI, in April of 2025, property crimes detectives from the police department and solid waste staff collected approximately 549 pounds of unwanted prescription medications and nearly 14,000 pounds of shredded paper. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions on this agenda item? If there are none, do we have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 6.3. Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 7.1.
Authorize a purchase order to Train US Inc. for the procurement of HVAC equipment replacements, repair parts, and related services.
Good afternoon. How's everybody today?
Good.
I'm Brandy Colandrea. I'm the Director of General Services. So staff recommends authorizing a $4.5 million purchase order to Train US Incorporated for HVAC equipment and services through August 2027, using a cooperative contract via Omni Partners. This supports citywide air conditioning replacements, building controls, upgrades, and new chiller systems. Funding spans operating and capital budgets, including general services and utility projects. The investment aligns with strategic goals for infrastructure, service reliability, and accountable governance. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions from the council? If not, do we have consent on 7.1?
Yep.
We have consent on this agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7.2.
Again, Brandy Colandrea, General Services Director. Staff recommends approving $883,468.93 in purchase orders to Nicholas Contracting and TK Elevator for elevator repairs and replacements at city facilities damaged by Hurricane Helene. Work includes turnkey modernizations and code-compliant repairs with funding tracked under Emergency Code D2402. Insurance and FEMA reimbursement is being pursued. This investment restores critical infrastructure and aligns with strategic goals for performance, safety, and revitalization.
Okay, Councilmember Cotton?
Yes, thank you. Just quick question, probably a quick answer. I saw there was only 2 respondents, and it just happened to be those 2 people. Any reason as to why that is?
I would have to get with purchasing to find out.
That's why I figured there would be a quick response. Thank you.
Would you like me to follow up with that?
Okay, any other questions? Do we have consent on this agenda?
Yep.
We have consent on 7.2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 7.3.
Again, Brandy Colandrea, General Services Department. Staff recommends approving $193,316 in purchase order to Mayer Company for fire alarm lease services and related work for 2025 through 2026. Mayer has supported city facilities since 1987, and replacing their systems would be cost prohibitive. Services include monitoring, inspections, and compliance with fire codes. Funding is from the General Services operating budget. This renewal supports infrastructure reliability and aligns with strategic goals in safety and governance.
Okay. Any questions on this agenda item? If there are none, do we have consent?
Yep.
We have consent on 7.3. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Agenda item 8.1.
Approve the annexation for 2201 Main Street, Dunedin.
Any questions? Okay, not. Agenda item 8.2.
Do we have to?
Excuse me. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Adrian Young, Plan Development. Thank you so much. The volunteer annexation.
If I could ask you to run instead of walk. We're not in a hurry, but we're close to ending.
Yes, sir. This petition is for 0.7 acres located at 2201 Main Street. The parcel is currently vacant. The applicant is requesting annexation in order to receive sanitary sewer, solid waste, and water from the city. Staff analysis concludes this is consistent with the comprehensive plan and community development code and recommends approval.
Okay. Any questions? All right, move to item 8.2 now.
Approve a future land use map amendment for undesignated Pinellas County to institutional I category of 2201 Main Street.
Excellent. Thank you again. Adrian Young, Plan Development. This application is to amend the future land use map for 2201 Main Street from undesignated Pinellas County to institutional Clearwater.
Okay. Any questions? No. 8.3.
Approve a zoning Alice amendment from undesignated Pinellas County to institutional district for 2201 Main Street.
Yes, thank you. Again, Adrian Young, Plan and Development. This will amend the zoning designation on 2201 Main Street from undesignated Pinellas County to institutional within Clearwater.
Okay, third strike on this one, so if you don't have any questions, we're not going to.
No question.
We're not going to bring it up again.
We have one question.
Just one, yeah, if you don't. Is this the new medical building? Yeah. That we were absolutely ribbon cutting?
This is the parking lot to that building? Yes, sir. The parcel in question is the parking lot.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Agenda item 9.1.
Approve a purchase order to Oracle America, Inc. for software maintenance.
Mayor, Council, Dan Mayer, IT Director. This is a renewal of our Oracle maintenance. This will be coming to an end over the next, hopefully, year. But this covers our database licensing and our current asset management solution.
Appreciate how quickly you moved to the podium after the last.
Fast. Don't want to miss my chance.
Live and learn.
Any questions on this agenda item?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you. Agenda item 10.1.
Mayor, this is my item. As the council is aware, we've had a couple discussions recently regarding proclamation process, council input, et cetera. And so the consensus that emerged from the previous meeting is to modify our council rules to add a section of the meeting, as I understand it, for the work session. And as the council is aware, on the Thursday night meetings, we always have had a section for council members to make comments. But on the work session, for whatever reason, it was set up only for the mayor to have comments and not for the other council members. So what is before you is a proposed resolution which would update the council rules to create a space in each work session for council members who wish to make comments to do so. And those comments may or may not have anything to do with proclamations. You may or may not have comments you want to make. But the rules as drafted would create that space on the agenda. So that would mean in future work sessions, you would see that opportunity on the agenda. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I want to say is that this particular council rule that we're kind of modifying or tinkering with is also the rule that talks about how council agenda items get added in the first place. As the council is aware, the vast majority of agenda items come from staff. 90% plus departments are bringing forward their items, as we are today. However, sometimes council members would like to add a particular item for discussion. Under the city charter, every member of this council has an absolute right to add any discussion item you want. You do not need and should not require the permission of your fellow council members to add an item of your choosing. However, there has always been an open question as to the lead time that council would like prior to an item being added. In other words, how much notice do you guys want before an agenda item comes to you? The best practice, I would say, or the ideal practice, is for the council member who wishes to add an item to make an announcement at a public meeting and to say, I'd like to add to the next work session X topic or Y topic, whatever it is. And you could make that, whether it's here today at a work session or on your Thursday night comments. But the advantage of doing it in public is that way everybody else on the council gets to know that this particular topic is coming, gives them time to start thinking about it, research it, talk to people, whatever it is that they want to do. However, that is not required currently by our council rules. The current practice has been that oftentimes council members will make requests in between meetings, either to the clerk or to the city manager, and ask them to add an item. And that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it happens that way, it could mean that items come before you on less notice, perhaps, than you were expecting. And because of the Sunshine Law, you guys won't have a way to really converse with each other regarding the item outside of a public meeting. All of that is to say that the way that I have drafted this codifies the current practice, meaning that council members can continue to add items before, after, or in between meetings. In other words, if you think of something tomorrow and you say to the city manager, oh, I wish I had added that item, you can tell the city manager to do that. This would codify that, and it would set expectations for all of us, including the council, the clerk, the manager, me, et cetera, that you would have a right to do that as council members. That's one option. The reverse option would be we could codify something totally different. We could codify something to say that council members can only add items that are announced at a public meeting. That would have the advantage of ensuring everybody has lots of heads up and lots of notice, but it can also be stifling because there are times when you guys might think of items you want to add in between meetings, and it would limit you from doing that. So all that said, what I have drafted is just for conversation, but I want to call specific attention to it because I do think it's time for council to make some decisions as far as how you want that process to look. Because I know this has caused some issues where we have not formally kind of articulated what the council's preferences are. I don't want either of the council members to get blindsided. I don't want the manager to feel like she's in an awkward position between meetings. And so I think it's time to kind of just discuss what the council would like that rubric to look like. But again, what I've drafted would codify the existing practice, meaning that any of you can give direction at any time to the manager or clerk, including between meetings, to add something to the next meeting. So that's what's drafted.
Yeah.
I actually
Vice
do
Mayor.
welcome that discussion. I would like this council to, I'd like to hear what my colleagues think about the new rules, or not the new rules, but the rules. I think it has to be reviewed, and as a team, or as a body, come up with a consensus on how to proceed, but all of us on the same path. Because I was under the understanding that it had to be announced publicly, and if it didn't, you had to have 2 weeks' notice. But that certainly was not the case. So I welcome that discussion, see how everybody feels, what they would think is best. I don't want necessarily to get to remove the flexibility, because I think that really ties our arms behind our back. But I do want a process that we can all agree on. So I would welcome that discussion.
Okay. Councilmember Cotton?
Yeah, I like what you've drafted here, and thank you for the explanation of both what we have and another option, except for adding something in between from a work session to a Thursday night vote. I think that time is probably coming past, that does put some of us on our back heels, and it probably just is court etiquette wise. Other than that, I agree with you in tying your hands behind your back. I think that if something comes up we've already had our work session, we've already had our Thursday night meeting, and we didn't get to publicly announce something that might come up within those next 2 weeks, we are tied before being able another 2 weeks. And now we're a month down the road, and that is not efficient in any way, shape, or form. However, for not throwing each other off or curveball, in the 11th hour, I do think that we probably should have a restriction from adding something to the agenda after a work session's been concluded. So essentially closing that time from when it gets gavelled at the end of our Monday session and then to the end of Thursday and reopened after Thursday, essentially. Or if you'd like to say something, like for the next meeting and the Thursday night during your comments, coming up in the future, but to put us on our back foot to vote on Thursday for something that might have been introduced Wednesday evening.
The concern I have is the citizens. If the agenda item is not in the published agenda, then you're limiting the citizens from contributing to the discussion or even being aware of it. And that's some of the feedback that I got. When we have something added after the agenda's been
No,
published,
absolutely.
I've gotten negative feedback from citizens several times.
And I
when
think
we
that's
do
what I
that.
go to with doing our homework, getting that feedback. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay, Councilmember Menino?
Thank you, Mayor. I completely agree with both of you. I think it would help to have a standardized process that we all follow and we're all understanding of and that we execute in. I think flexibility is important, but also respect to our time and respect to transparency. We all do our homework, so giving us that opportunity to do our homework and to dive into something is a help. For me, the cutoff switch that says that's probably a little too late is once an agenda is posted. I think if an agenda is posted, it probably should be locked, and let's hold off unless it's something exterminating that the city manager, the mayor believe that was really vitally for all of us needs to be there. But that's my cutoff switch. I agree. It's anything after between a work session and a council is far too late. And I think for me, the cutoff should be respectfully, once an agenda is posted, it's frozen, and that's probably too late. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with it. A little bit, I guess the lawyer in me, I'm kind of reading what we have now compared to what we've changed and kind of making my own red lines here. So I don't see a significant change from what we currently have, other than currently it says may be brought up asking they be scheduled for subsequent meetings. And to your point, City Attorney, it's not it's not clear whether or not that's the meeting 3 days from now. So this would clarify that, yeah. And I do think, like the Vice Mayor said, it's not just awkward for colleagues up here, but for the public too, to have it placed on the agenda that quickly without notice or time to react to it, so. So I'm okay with this change, I think. I think it's probably good. Okay? Is that our direction?
Just make sure I'm hearing correctly. So what I'm taking away from this is that I probably edit this version a little bit, which is fine. That's why we're talking about it now. Because I believe as drafted, there would be no such limitation as Councilmember Cotton described, meaning, in other words, as drafted, potentially somebody could announce at a Monday work session or even Tuesday morning, for example, that they wanted to add something for Thursday night. And what I'm hearing from the council is that that really is not enough time, and that you guys would like to have a little bit more time to do that. Technically, however, you know, it's like to Councilmember Cotton's point about the agenda being published. So let's say, for example, you think about something later tonight, and then you were to call the clerk or the city manager and say, could we add this for Thursday? Is that something that the council would be okay with because the agenda has not yet been published for Thursday, but it still is not a whole lot of time? You know, we'd be talking 72 hours, you know, and that's about it. But technically, agenda hasn't been published yet for Thursday. And so I think that's a question for council to kind of mull over for a moment. You know, do you feel comfortable with a rule that would say that there are 3 windows perhaps when items can be added to the agenda? Window number 1, and you can choose, you know, whatever you want. Number 1 would be at a work session, if you were to make the announcement at a work session, which you can always do anyway. Number 2 would be at a Thursday night meeting if you were to make the announcement. And number 3 would be between meetings, but if it's between the Monday and Thursday meetings, it would go on the next work session. In other words, that'll prevent a situation where somebody thinks of an item on Tuesday, say tomorrow, somebody thinks of an item, Councilmember Menino says, oh, I'd like to add this item. Technically, the agenda hasn't been published yet for Thursday, because that might not come out till Tuesday evening, but I think a lot of you might feel like if he were to bring up an item, and I'm just saying because you mentioned it, right? If he were to bring up an item tomorrow, you might feel like that's not enough time, especially if it's something significant or requires a lot of research, or as Councilmember Menino said, you know, people do their homework. And so I could draft it to say that there's really 3 windows. Either window number 1 is at the work session, make an announcement for the next work session. Number 2 would be at the Thursday night meeting, make an announcement for the next work session. And option number 3 would be to in between meetings, but it still has to go on the next work session. And the only caveat to that would be if the agenda has already been published for the next work session, then if I'm hearing correctly, once it's published, is there consensus that the agenda is locked at that point? And if that's not the consensus, under what circumstances would you want to allow items to come out after an agenda has already been published? In other words, in what circumstances would you want to preserve the ability to ask the manager to republish the agenda? Essentially is what you'd be asking, because you'd be adding an item after the agenda has already been published.
Well, you know, absent an emergency,
Yeah.
you know, some emergency response, I don't think anything should be added to our council agenda unless it's been discussed first at a work session. Would be my opinion.
Because you're talking about just a week,
You
waiting
can
a
certainly
week.
bring it up at a work session, and then we can decide to put it on. But if it's not been raised I don't think any of us should just be able to put something on the agenda having not first discussed it at a work session, at least raised it, would be my, I don't know, if the rest of you agree or not.
That is usually how I think it works for most items. Now, one variation, though, that I'd like to include when I'm drafting this is the scenario where the work session agenda has been published, but a council member thinks about an item that you'd like to have. Because, you know, we try to get the agenda out as early as possible. It's not always possible, but we try to do a week in advance. And so let's say that the agenda came out on Monday for the following work session. Is the council comfortable with saying, once the work session agenda is out, that the work session agenda is locked? Or do you want to preserve the ability, say, a certain number of calendar days, 5 calendar days or something like that, before the work session to still add items? Or are you comfortable saying, once it's published, it's locked?
For me, I don't think necessarily that we need to have the work session locked, because then again, that's only throwing us a week for something that might come up. I would say that even if the work session agenda item has been published, we still get until maybe Thursday, because that's when a formal vote would be on whatever it is we have. Therefore, it still provides 7 business days for others to do their homework, including the weekend, and for other resident feedback, right? I think that still gives you enough time to do that. Can't think of a situation which, that would happen. Again, I just don't want to think of us locking our hands and then just being like, shoot, and now we have to wait 3 weeks before, we're there again. So that's just my only 2 thoughts. I think that because it is a work session agenda, you still have a little bit of leeway to add that, but by Thursday it should be in. That's just my 2 cents again, because your formal meeting will be on a Thursday.
Yeah, I don't think we mind the timeliness of it so much as it puts everyone in a bad spot if one of us puts 4 words on the agenda. I want to talk about, draperies at the Clearwater Library. And we don't have any context for that. We have no idea until we actually get to the work session what exactly the agenda item is or what the proposal is by the council member. I think as long as we have some context to it, it's more than, there's maybe a proposed document or something attached to the agenda item, then I don't know that, we need that much notice. But I do think it puts us in an awkward spot when there's just a very cryptic agenda item with no explanation to go with it as to what we want to discuss at the work session.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. My question to that would just be, would we be breaking sunshine law by, how do we draft that contextually without not breaking sunshine law?
It's okay it's okay to have, one-way communication. It's just, we need to be careful that one way doesn't become 2 ways. So I think it's totally fine, if you want to bring up an item, for example, to say to the city manager or the city clerk, hey, put this on the agenda. Now, I don't think, not to speak for the manager, but I don't think it would be fair to ask the manager or the clerk to guess, as to what a council member would like. But I think if you're prepared to say, hey, put X, Y, Z in the agenda item with council member Cotton's request, I think, unless the manager says otherwise, that would be okay, right?
Correct, and we verify that, and that's what we've been doing. And so whenever any one of you asks for something to be added to the agenda, send it to the clerk's office, and then we send it through the distribution channel so that you all know it's been asked to be put on a future agenda. Now, from what I'm hearing would be different with this, though, is that the time frame, because you often will ask before what we are talking about now. Not regularly, but it's happened more than I can count on one hand in terms of the request to put something on an agenda for the upcoming agenda, so that there's not a meeting before that request has been asked. Does that make sense? So just to be clear, what I'm hearing is, should I get that request, the process will be the same, but I would respond and say it won't be on the upcoming meeting. It'll be discussed for that meeting, and it'll be on for the following meeting. So it would take really 2 meetings to get something on an agenda. Is that the process where I want to make sure that I understand what is being asked?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit confused too, because I'm hearing days, and to me, it's like, how important is this item that we can add to the agenda after it's been published and basically upset the citizens because they don't feel that they're being given a heads up. And so, how important is that item that it can't wait a week, or, you know what I mean? And so that's the balance, the transparency versus the urgency of the matter. I can't, off the top of my head, think of many issues that have to be discussed in a week, and if it is, it would be an exception. I don't know.
I'm with you. That was what I was kind of struggling with, is it's, not just for us and us doing our homework, it is for the residents. And when we post an agenda and it's posted, there are those in our community that see it early, and they get it early, and now all of a sudden, 2 or 3 days later, they believe this is the business that we're handling, but something's been added or something's been changed. Now the red flags go up, and oh, what are they doing? Doesn't seem right. I've been in a situation myself before where I've taken an agenda posted early and checked out for a couple days because I have a business event or a granddaughter being born or something, to come back 3 days and check back in and see an item that, where did that come from? I had no idea. I have this agenda that was posted. I didn't even know that was on there. So we kind of get blindsided when they come that route. And now we're putting ourselves in a place where we have to make sure, whether it's through staff or clerk's office, that we're notified of, hey, there was a change, this has been added. I think, for me, if something's been posted and the agenda's posted, then unless it's an emergency, it probably should be frozen out of respect to the process for the citizens and ourselves.
That's how.
Probably, yeah. And that's what, 7 days?
I agree.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Okay.
So I think that we're going to be handcuffing ourselves, I'll be honest with you, right? I mean, what defines an emergency for you, Vice Mayor, versus Councilmember Albritton? I mean, that's subjective to a point. We don't have a defined terms of knowing how to play by the rules of what's an emergency and what isn't. So what's considered an emergency by me could be some resident or somebody else that comes to me and brings up a valid concern that then I want to have published, but because a council session, work session has been locked, now I'm handcuffed to 2 weeks before having to present that. I don't think that that's right in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that that's what I, as a citizen, would want of my elected official, to be able to get my concerns expressed in a timely manner. So even though I understand and hear the sentiment of wanting people to know what's going on and being transparent, I'm fully for that and all about it. I still think that we need to have the ability to put things on, and yes, still in a timely manner, to make sure that we can get a response back and feedback back. And I mean, that's why we're still a 5-person board, right? So if we don't have a consensus, or if we feel the need to have it pushed to the next council meeting, we can do that. We can elect to, hey, at least we've heard you, we've gotten it up there, but we need a little bit more time to digest this. Let's take a vote to table this, get more information. Perfect case in point popped in my head, fluoride. I brought up a fluoride agenda, still posted in a timely manner. Not everybody had the facts and everything that they needed. I was okay with it. I gave 30 days, right? We all agreed, 30 days. So here, I don't want to put in rules something that binds me or any future elected official from, because a work session agenda has been locked, now we're locking it out. I just feel like that will be more of a red tape bog down of government, and I'm not for that.
Well, that's a good example, actually. You talk about fluoride. You deemed it an emergency. But putting it at the last minute, I got a lot of calls from staff, from citizens saying, okay, so there's no meeting on a Monday, it's a meeting on a Wednesday. It was on the week of spring break, and you just put it on the agenda. That develops distrust from the citizens. Could we have talked about fluoride 2 weeks later and actually follow the protocol? I think so.
May I respond?
Yeah, but I'm trying to get, though, do you agree with this, or are you saying you don't agree with this proposed change? Or?
I mean, I agree with how it's written, except for the proposals that I've made of saying that, I mean, once it's Thursday, like locked in, meaning that we get our, whenever the work session agenda is set, you have until that Thursday before the formal meeting, so 7 days before your formal meeting, to have it, whatever you need as a council member, locked in. So it'd still be a week before the formal meeting. You got to get in that Thursday. That means we and the citizens have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, meeting on Monday. That's where we can talk about it, bring it up, and then that gives the citizens still input for phone calls, emails, knocking at your door, whatever they want to do, and discussion for them on the Thursday meeting prior. I still think that that gives them ample time.
But that's not how it's proposed, right?
Correct. As
No, that's not how it's
Yeah.
proposed.
Correct.
You're
As-
okay, though, Councilmember Cotton, with how it's proposed here.
How it's proposed here is,
It's fine with you. It's just this.
yeah, that's
additional
just
step.
adding it whenever, correct? Like, exactly.
Correct. So this is really, what's proposed is really, is the, I guess I'll say opposite end of the spectrum, which is the total freedom to add items whenever you like, however you like, essentially is how it's drafted. And candidly, I mean, that has been the status quo. That has been kind of the informal practice. So that's why I started with that, because that's codifying what the existing practice is. Coming back from that, though, if we want to make sure that there is more notice, for example, both to other council members as well as to the public, the question then becomes, do you guys want to tie it to either the publication of the agenda, or if it's not going to be tethered to the publication of the agenda, would you like to tether it based on a number of days? Would we say X number of days, 7 days, 5 days, whatever it is, in advance? And I think that's really the question is, I'm hearing that there's consensus among all of you. Like, I don't think anybody either wants to be blindsided by each other, or to have residents blindsided. But at the same time, there is a point at which you guys, could end up tying your hands more than you would like to. So it's an appropriate discussion, but I think that to hone in on really the precise issue here, it would really be, does council want to say, once the agenda is published, it's locked for that work session? Or do you want to tether it to a certain number of days to say that that request to add an item must come to the manager at least X number of days prior to the work session? And, they're all valid options, but I think that's the decision point.
Well, I'm for approving what you proposed, and then we'll think about the other, but for now, I think this adds some clarity, I think, so. Councilmember.
Yeah, so I've been listening to this back and forth. Good conversation, by the way. Brought up some things that I wasn't thinking of, but I hate to take away the flexibility for something, but, go back on your fluoride thing and maybe artificial turf. Those kind of things, we really need to have more time to digest and then get input from staff as to what their position is, and we can always put that. We can discuss it and say, okay, we're gonna take a few weeks to get feedback. That's, I think, what we would do on something big like that. I don't think we would say, gee, if we discuss something like fluoride, say, okay, Monday we're talking about it and we need to have a vote Thursday night. I think we're all gonna probably give at least a week or two to gather information, because those are big topics. And so the way it's written, I'm fine with that, and I think all of us would probably, on the big issues, would probably demand some more time, for public input and for staff input.
So this is how I've kind of always seen it too, is just because I put it on that agenda, I'm not expecting for it to be in a perfect world. That'd be great if we voted on it that Thursday night, but more so it's my input of something that I have heard in the community that seems to be gaining traction that I agree with, so I'm bringing it to the board. Hey, this is what I've heard, this is how I'm presenting it, these are the facts that I have. If we vote on it Thursday, great, but if people need more time, at least this is what my concern is, and then we push it. Okay, how much time do we need? And that's where we discuss. Again, fluoride. I don't mean to have taken anybody off the base with that or throwing it from left field, but, I believe that I got it in a timely manner, if I'm being honest. I had discussions with the city manager weeks before even putting it on there, right? And getting my information and ducks in a row before doing that, to even upload specific attachments. So I understand the sentiment. And nor do I think that anybody here is really trying to throw any of us for a loop or the public for a loop. I'm just not for binding our hands. I think it goes without saying that if you were to bring something, you're not specifically expecting a vote that Thursday, but more so the start to that discussion. We have that on Monday. If we don't have enough information, then we say, okay, well, this is the time. And if that council member isn't good with that time frame, they express their opinions. No, I think it needs to be sooner than that, right? And that's where we continue back and forth. So I'm just not trying to put the citizens who have made concerns that reach out to whatever one of us that they do into a box. I want to make sure that we have, as been set up here, the flexibility, the fluidity to move and make decisions that are good for our community so that everybody's better off than we were before. And I think that that's our intent, and it should be our focus and our goal. And I have no problem with even going for what the mayor has said and approving what's here. And if we need to change or readdress a time frame in the future, to do that. But I haven't had an issue with anything that the four of you have requested to be put on the agenda or have ever been taken back. So I think that usually it's come up, it's been discussed at a work session, and I mean, I can't remember one, I'm sure that anybody can let me know, that we voted for the next Thursday. Usually it's known that we talk about it Monday, probably extend it to the next council session and do more homework, due diligence. So, thank you.
We're not voting right now, we're just discussing, so you'll have time to think about it more before Thursday night.
No, I just want to, if you don't mind, Mayor, to add that I totally get what you're saying, and the last thing we want to do is handcuff ourselves or anybody on the dais, or take a valid concern from a citizen and put it into a shoebox and say, I hear you probably won't sleep for the next 2 weeks because it's going to be on your mind and bother you, but we're going to put this on a shelf and we'll chat about it in 2 weeks. I don't think that's fair either, but I think we have to be reminded that the mechanism we have to allow that flexibility and fluidity that we're discussing is the 3 minutes at a council work session or at the council meeting. You have your 3 minutes, so you can discuss and validate any concerns or bring up a topic and talk about it without putting the dais in a place where I hope you did your homework, or I hope you saw that this agenda item was added late or changed because we're going to have a discussion on it. You use your 3 minutes, you bring it up, it's not being neglected. We're obviously not declaring it to be something of an emergency, or we would add it, so it's a non-emergency. I think that kind of gives us the fluidity and flexibility, but just keep that in mind that that's what that's there for.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
My knee-jerk reaction to 3 days, I could just actually imagine the phone calls. I don't think 3 days is enough for our citizens to feel that they have a heads up. That's during the weekend, everybody's got lives. I know I'm gonna get pushback on that. We could take a little break, and discuss this later and see what the reaction is of the citizens to that, but I don't see them being comfortable with 3 days. Maybe if we can extend it a bit more, but those agendas are being read by citizens. This is their heads up. This is the way we communicate what we're going to be discussing. Gives them a week to show up if they can. But I understand the flexibility part. I've also been on the side where I've asked for something to be put on the agenda, and for whatever reason it didn't happen, and it got pushed another 2 weeks, and I didn't appreciate that. So I understand. I'm just wondering if there's like a happy medium where we can retain the flexibility but still give ample time and transparency to our residents. I guess that's what I'll take the next couple of weeks to think about.
Well, if 3 days is too soon and 7 days is too long, maybe we find 5 days as a happy medium. I mean, there is math there.
Mm-hmm. Not just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but.
Right.
Is this a big issue? Like, are we having a problem with this? Is this, other than being formally redone, like, I mean, are we just, like, is somebody having an issue with this? I don't think that it's been an issue either.
I'd agree with you. We're getting a little bit way in the weeds, I think, on some of this. We're talking about a very subtle change as proposed here. I think some of it is just us, 5 of us being respectful of one another and not blindsiding us by putting something on, a very cryptic description. And and to the Vice Mayor's standpoint too, not blindsiding the community too. So, there are folks who do religiously watch these agendas every week, and they look for items that they want to come in and they want to talk about. So I think she makes a good point that for the community to have a heads up on issues that are going to be discussed is helpful as well. So, but I think, to Councilmember Albritton's point, we want to maintain some level of flexibility. So I agree with the city attorney's proposed change. I think that's good for now. If we do have problems going forward, then we'll
Change it.
Yeah, we can address it later. But for now, I think what you proposed is fine, personally. Okay. And again, we're not voting now, we'll vote Thursday night, so.
Correct. It'll be back on Thursday night for discussion and potential vote.
So if no further discussion on this, then we'll move to item 11.1.
Approve the vacation of the westerly 5-foot utility easement as platted, requested by landowners Sandra and Joseph Capper, located at 1086 El Dorado Avenue.
Thank you, Nicole. Good evening, Mayor. Actually, excuse me, good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Robert Kasmer, Public Works Engineering, Real Estate Coordinator. In brief for you today, it has been a request received by the current landowner to vacate a rear crossing platted 5-foot utility easement that now hinders the property's development. There are no current or planned utilities within this easement. All proper notices have been published. City staff and legal have reviewed and approved this request. Any questions, please?
Okay, any questions from the council? So I did have one question. I mean,
Yes.
Is that the other adjacent property owners have the same easement across them, or have those already been vacated?
No, sir, this is the ocean side. I have an aerial for you to see.
So it's only on this one property that there's the easement?
It does continue to the adjacent parcels and further, but again, as the properties are being developed, then we will address the vacation for that easement. But again, there are no utilities in that stretch of the easement. It was done again by plat, but again, long ago.
And it's landward of the coastal conservation line?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So I know historically, the reason why there's easements back there, I think, wasn't there a road planned? I know over toward Pompavilion there was, it never got built.
There was a road at one time further south. I don't know if it continued that far north. It may have been, I don't know for a fact, but I can find that answer out for you. But no, it does not continue as far as I know that far up.
I know we've done vacations for a lot of the houses on El Dorado there.
Yes, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anything else on 11.1? 11.2. Thank you.
Thank you.
Approve architect of record consulting services agreements to provide architectural and related services.
Thank you, Ms. Sprigg, and good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Tara Kivett, Public Works. This is the culmination of the city's process to procure a new architect of record list based on qualifications with 14 firms, including 6 new firms, to provide architectural and related services to the city in support of capital improvement projects, renovations, plans, and studies. This continuing contract allows the city to select, and typically we do that via an informal RFQ via email, select a firm for specific project that both meets the Consultant Competitive Negotiation Act and city procurement guidelines. And those projects need to have a construction value of less than $4 million or can be a study for under $500,000. The city will then negotiate fee based on the scope of work for the specific project. If the team cannot agree on fees, then the city will terminate negotiations with that firm and reach out to the next selected firm. I want to thank the city attorney's office for implementing a new design professional agreement that was part of the consensus doc. This new agreement requires the consulting firm to ensure their design can be constructed meeting the established budget and schedule moving forward. This new agreement, supported by Public Works team's efforts, will help drive project success. And the Public Works team does many different key items throughout the project. I'll just highlight a few. Again, negotiating design fees with the consultants, leveraging owner's rep to help us negotiate further, better costs. Our work induction efforts, you'll start seeing more and more of. That's where we're going to be coordinating with all of the different departments and stakeholders early so that we ensure that all the requirements are met, and that will help minimize future change orders.
conducting more frequent inspections with staff along with the design professionals to get ahead of potential problems, and again, minimize change orders and ensure high quality of work. The use of competitive bidding along with other project delivery methods, and sharing the monthly project reports with other departments, and that is improving our engagement and overall success. Just to note, these rates can be increased annually at the firm's request, and those will be reviewed by engineering and procurement manager. And we are in process of still working with AECom. They had some requested revisions that we are not allowing, so we're working with them on getting the requested executed agreement. Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions on this agenda item? We do not.
Thank
Do we
you.
have consent?
Yes.
We have consent on 11.2. Thank you. Agenda item 12. City manager verbal reports.
Sir, I just wanted to take a quick moment to recognize that ACM Slaughter and I attended the Bloomberg Harvard City Leadership Program last week and learned a lot. And we have a project that is spun from as a result of that we are really looking forward to getting implemented at the city. It is a project that I plan on adding to my goals for next year for implementation. It will take significant resources and time, so it's something I want to make sure that the council's in agreement of, and so we'll be talking about that on our one-on-ones. But just really want to thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity for us to go. It was a really incredible experience. Got to meet with colleagues from literally around the world and in the United States, and have a lot of really great best practices to bring back to the city, and that I know that we will benefit as a result of us participating in that program. So just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that report. Yeah, the program is completely funded by Mayor Bloomberg and the Bloomberg Institute. The investment that Mayor Bloomberg and they have made, Bloomberg Philanthropies have made into cities across the United States is just incredible. All expenses paid, top level facilitators, and brought together this program. There were 45 municipalities representing 18 different countries. So just a unique experience for the city. I'm glad that you and ACM Slaughter were able to attend because it was just really a fantastic program. It will continue on, and look forward to our sharing what we're going to be doing going forward. And thank you for taking the time to do it, because it really is a valuable asset for our community.
For sure.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 13, city attorney.
Nothing right now.
Item 14.1, vice mayor.
Okay. So, based on last time's reaction, I opted out of Bose, Flare, and Flourish. And so I just got generic, boring folders for you guys. So here's yours.
Oh, boy.
Pass them out, please. So I've had several meetings. I've had several meetings at the TVRPC, and it's quite informative. We always have presentations. A lot of experts come and speak to us. And if I would have to give you a summary verbally, we'll be here for hours. So I just decided to give you a folder to put all that stuff in. And so in the folder, tab number 1 is just a quick what you need to know, mission statement, focus areas, and so on. And then on tab number 2, it's the 5-year strategic roadmap, which is a really good thing for you to read. It talks about the organization, it's what we do, the core values, our initiatives, and the work that we're either doing now or coming up. Tab number 3 is just a few slides that I removed from an interesting presentation we got about brownfields redevelopment opportunities, funding sources. We went over some sites and how to recognize these brownfields, and success stories throughout the region of how these brownfields transformed into really great areas. Tab 4 is just a few key slides from the Courtney Campbell Causeway Vulnerability Assessment and Resilience Study. We really delved into the constant damage and wear of the causeway caused by waves, bad storms, and the normal wear and tear. And we looked at, the purpose of the projects that we're in the middle of doing and are going to do, the needs, and the different solutions that are out there, and the next steps. And then the last tab is a couple of slides that I removed from a presentation by Jeff Baradelli, Chief Meteorologist and Climate Specialist from WFLA, Tampa Bay. His presentation included a review of the 2024 hurricane season in depth. We went through the whole gamut. And also, we looked at 2025 coming up, and then the Florida Department of Energy Summer 2024 study, which was quite interesting. It looked at the risks that 1980 to 2014 incurred in terms of hurricanes and what our future was going to look like, and it's pretty alarming. So I also have two really great presentations that I just saw last week, but those slides are not available to me. Once I get them, then you can place them in tab 6.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, on behalf of all of us, thank you for participating in this. It's really important that all of us, and we all sit, for Pinellas, and I saw Councilmember Nito was at a program over at Tampa International last week, but all of us participate on these regional boards, and it's so important because so much of what happens around us affects the citizens of Clearwater, and it's really being noticed that Clearwater is out there in the region wanting to be a partner with not just Tampa and St. Petersburg, but other counties around. So appreciate you participating in this and being a voice and bringing back very good information here for us, because it's really important for the city.
A lot of the expert presentations we're getting, especially recently, have to do with the implications and impact of being a coastal city. And it's a lot of services and information that would be beneficial to our city, especially being coastal. I think I'm going to be talking to our liaison, because they have grant opportunities and some great opportunities for us to learn directly from them, from the TPRPC. So I'm going to see if I can schedule an appointment, because there is funding out there that's available, and I would like to have their assistance in getting that.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. That moved to item 15. Is there any new business today? If not, move to item 17, closing comments by mayor. I don't have any today. So in light of time, we'll just move forward. If there's no other business